Ah, this is just really unfortunate. I was on my way to go to the cherry blossoms. The cherry blossoms are everywhere now around Korea. And there's a really cool place I was going to stream from with cherry blossoms everywhere, but I got stuck. It looks like the subway train is stuck here for a bit. So they told me it's going to be about an hour or so that we're going to be here. So I figure while we're waiting here anyway, why don't I just do the class here, at least while we're waiting? And then when the train gets going again, then I can go back to the place I was trying to go to. So hey, everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the stream today. Let's see who's here already. Few people are here early. If it's your first time here, just know we always start the live class right at the top of the hour. But we do start a little bit early for announcements and greetings and stuff like that. Samantha Johnson, welcome. Welcome. Yes, how's everyone doing? Where's everyone watching from? Aniki says, 오늘은 제 생일이에요. Oh, nice, really? Shilpa says, it's 2:15 a.m. here in India. Wow. Learning Korean is, of course, very important, but so is your sleep. I hope you're okay. Baltimore, nice. New York, Portugal, Malaysia, France, Algeria, Netherlands, Dallas, Texas, Kansas. Watching from 영국, nice. England, Poland. Yes, that's right, Paulina. You're in Poland. Paulina from Poland. Pennsylvania, Botswana. I have no clue where it is, but I've heard of it. Finland, Germany. You're asking, someone here is asking, can I watch your lives somewhere? Yes, all of the lives are available on my channel. There's actually a separate playlist for the live streams and a separate playlist for the abridged versions of those live streams. Hold on, I'll even share a link to that because I do have a link. This has every single live stream I've ever done. There's like, I don't know, I stopped counting. Well over 100, maybe it's close to 200. And all of the videos, the links, the topics covered, everything for everything. Yeah, everything for everything. And you get it all at once. California, Romania, England. Nice. A few announcements. So if you're new to the stream, you might not be aware, but I have actually worksheets and outlines for every live stream I've ever done. You can get them in the link that I actually linked. Well, it should have linked. It should post it sometime soon. I think the automatic bot that's supposed to post the link is sleeping. So it might take a little bit to wake up. Sometimes it's not quite ready to go. Let me check. Anyway, while that's going, oh, okay, I see. It was for some reason the bot was sleeping. I see it was asleep here. All right, now it's coming back in. It'll be a minute. Anyway, there is a list of everything for all of the live streams that I've ever done, which I will post in the chat in a bit. And you can also get there the worksheets and outlines for every single stream that I've ever done. So yeah, everything. If you're ever curious about topics I've done before. Okay, let me see if it works now or if it's still sleeping. It might still be sleeping. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, you can also find the Google document right now on my channel in the community tab. So you can get it anytime you want. You can bookmark it. And yeah, we'll get it working though before the stream's finished today, I'm sure. Other announcements are oh yeah, a very important announcement. I should make this first. So I'm going to Korea again. I've said this a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to Korea again in a couple months. And I'll be there from May until July. Well, the very end of July, actually. So I'll be there for May, June, July, almost about 3 months this time. And that means whenever I'm in Korea, I don't do these live classes. I'll still try to do a live stream about once a month or so, but you won't get these weekly classes like I can do when I'm not in Korea. So after today's class, there are only 3 more live classes before the break. So there are 4 total, including today. Just a note. So when you make your schedule, you can actually check there we go. It finally posted it. That's it. That's the link. The link below, you can, or I guess it's on this side, I think, right? Yeah, it should be on this side. All of the streams, as well as upcoming days for streams, are also all there. So just scroll down to the bottom. You'll see the next, the live stream dates. It's all scheduled, so you can just write those down in your calendar. And there are 3 more after today that we will still have, and then I'll be going on a break, so there won't be any more classes. What that means is if you have a request, Billy, please teach this topic. If there's something you'd really like to learn about, make sure to get in your requests like tonight, because tomorrow there are going to be all new suggestions. So you know how I put the vote. Every week we get a new vote, a new set of options to vote on. Those options come from you. They come mainly from members who get priority. And then after that, they go from regular channel viewers if there aren't enough suggestions from members. So if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, I haven't already covered, or maybe you want it covered in more detail or in a different way, anything, just let me know and get your requests in tonight, because tomorrow morning, I'm going to be making a new set of options to vote on, and those will be the last ones until after the summer. So it'll go on a break from May all the way until sometime in August. It'll come back. So just so you know, make sure to get in your requests before it's too late. They will be coming back, though. It's just a temporary break. I do this every year. Let's see. Who else said where they're from? Let me check. Romania. Oh, that's right. I read that one. Okay. Slovenia. Another person from the UK. Liverpool, I see. London. 2 people are just talking about where they're from specifically, I see. Brazil. Okay, first time watching from Brazil. I came from your Shuga video. Love the way you explain stuff. Hope to catch a beginner's class live. Yeah, a lot of people like the new series. I might keep it going. Egypt, India, Scotland, Wales, Sweden, Michigan. It's like we've got all these like exotic countries. India, Egypt, Scotland, Sweden, Michigan, Hungary, Greece, Portugal, California. Hey, Superfluous. Wow, yeah, it's been a whole year. Thank you so much, Superfluous. It's a little superfluous of a time frame, wouldn't you say? Netherlands, Venezuela, Arizona, Paraguay. Nice, nice. Yeah, so I will, since there won't be a live stream after the final BTS video is aired, so I can't ask this during a live stream. For those of you who are here right now, I'll give you a special opportunity. I don't even know what to call it. For those of you who are here. So I'm probably going to make an official poll on my actual Patreon page and for actual members, but just something to think about. So this is to think about. I'm not doing a poll today, but just think about what would you like to see after the BTS videos are done, because I am interested in doing more analysis videos of, it can be other Korean groups. It can be actors or actresses, anything you like that. Just let me know what you'd like to see. Do you want to just see sequels to this? And that's it. You just want more sequels every single day, 24/7. Billy analyzes BTS speaking. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think people will also want to try out some other groups or some other topics, but let me know. Again, I'm not doing a poll right now. I'm going to be doing a poll after a few weeks once the series has concluded, and I'm going to ask Patreon members first, and then members, channel members as well first, And then after that, we'll have a poll for everyone else to kind of pick among the options that we get. But just something to think about. Anyone can think about it. What would you like to see from my channel after that series is done? As well as what sort of topics and video ideas would you like to see while I'm in Korea? Because I'm going to Korea, obviously, for filming videos for this channel. So I'm open to your suggestions. I have a bunch of ideas of my own, but I do take suggestions fairly occasionally. Actually, most of the videos that I make in Korea are actually based on suggestions from members. Okay, let's see. Cody Smith says, Texas, but live in Seoul. Do you have a Texas accent when you speak Korean? Because I knew a guy once who was from, I don't remember where. It was Plano. Anyway, it was somewhere in Texas. And he spoke Korean, at least a little bit. He spoke Korean with a Texas accent. It was kind of funny. Carrie says, Texas is its own country. In some ways, yes. Maybe some dramas. Okay. Lauren suggesting Stray Kids. Now, I did a Stray Kids series, in case you don't know, unless you're asking for something else beyond that. Let's see. 공유, okay. That's a very specific suggestion. 17. Georgia says, I went on a school trip and I asked the Korean for the first time to take a picture of me in Korean. I said, 저를 사진 찍을 수 있나요? And she then said, 뭐지? If you said that, she might have thought you meant, she might have thought you meant, can I take a picture of you? But she wasn't sure about your object marker placement. Since what you said is, 저를. So now as soon as you say 저, so it's me, you're not saying, can I do something? But you're saying, something is doing something to me. So 저를 찍다 is to take a picture of, to take me, basically. So if you're saying, can you take a picture of me? And if you said that, she might have thought you were asking her if you can take a picture of her. And she might have been confused. Like, but because you said 저를 at the beginning, which would mean take a picture of me. But I think it could be a bit vague. We might say instead, 제 사진, 저의 사진, my picture. Can you take my picture? So not, can you take a picture, take a me a picture, not quite like that, but can you take my picture, literally. So if you had said it that way, it would have been more clear. It's possible she was just a bit confused. That would be my guess. But like I said, I would have to hear exactly what it was that you said and what it was that she said so I can give you a better analysis of what went on. Orisha says, maybe some lyric. I'm not going to do lyric analysis on my channel ever unless I get permission from the group. That sort of video immediately would get copyright claimed. So I'm not going to deal with that. Paulina Carolina, am I the only one who doesn't listen to K-pop? Nope, you're not alone. I don't listen to Korean music either. I listen exclusively to instrumental music and soundtracks. I like movie soundtracks. But if I listen to anything that has lyrics at all, I can't focus. And the only time I can listen to music is when I'm doing editing or working or writing. And when I'm doing those things, I have to focus on what I'm doing. I can't be distracted by lyrics. So yeah, I don't listen to too much music. That's just normally how I am. I haven't really ever listened to too much music besides like instrumental or movie soundtracks, stuff like that. Sometimes drama soundtracks. Enya is kind of okay too sometimes since you can't understand what she's saying. But other than that, it's going to be music without lyrics for me most of the time. And occasionally I might listen to something with lyrics if I'm like doing work that doesn't require my brain. Then I might do that. Brian, welcome. Hey. The medic from Team Fortress 2 asks, what's the difference between a normal question? You'll have to define a normal question for me. So if you give me an example, I can clarify on that. But there isn't such thing as a normal question. It would depend because since you're talking about the ending chi, and chi is a normal question, so you'd have to compare it with what other normal question are you comparing that with? Analyzing written Hangul. Okay, I have done some videos where I analyze writing. However, they're not they're not very popular on my channel. I've done 2 videos where I analyze journals and I talk about writing a lot whenever I do those. They don't get very many views, so I believe that most people don't want to watch it. So I'm fine making more if I'm wrong and people do want to watch it, but I'd rather spend the same 3 or 4 days preparing that, instead preparing a video that more people would want to watch. And yeah, my mom listened to that when I was little too. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, Medic from Team Fortress 2. Okay, this is the last question because I have to start the live stream actually today. So really quick, 언제 왔어요? 언제 왔죠? So that wouldn't be any sort of difference between the sentences other than the difference between, I guess the answer to your question is to watch a video about how to use the 지 ending or the 지요, 조 ending, because that's the only difference, is how the form is used. It's just the regular 지요 ending, which is used for confirmation. So you're requesting confirmation. It is being used for confirmation, believe it or not. And it's like in, we don't do this in American English very much, but in Canadian English, you might stereotypically hear, and actually sometimes hear, someone attaching, oops, I almost fell over there. I'm trying to balance on one foot. You might hear someone say, it's a great day, eh? Is it used for confirmation? Yes. Are you really asking a question? No. Nice weather, eh? You're just saying, hey, right? We might say right or huh in English. You know, we don't do it too often, but it's good weather, huh? We're not asking it as a question. The intonation even goes down, but it's still a request for a reply. So it's used in the same way, regardless of how the intonation is. I like the journal analysis. Yeah, you're one of the few people who does. I like them personally. I think they're fun. I like seeing journals. I like asking for journals. But I can't do them too frequently. I'd say once a year might be the amount that I can do those videos, simply because they don't get very many views and they do take a lot of work to make. I think the last one was 3 days just for editing, 1 day for filming. And then if I don't include the time for preparing for the video, then we'll just say 4 days. Let's see. Just reading the comments for a second. Okay. I think we can get started with the lesson. Again, a really quick reminder. This is one of the last live streams before the summer break. There will be 3 more after today, and then we're taking a break for the summer. Okay, for the lesson today, there's only one prerequisite, and that is to know how to conjugate adjectives, preferably with any type of verb. So not only with descriptive verbs, like, for example, let's take the verb 작다, to be small. Can you change this into an adjective? Can you say a small ball? Can you say a small ball? I have a small ball with this. 작다. Can you turn it into an adjective? That would be, well, one of the possible options. It could be 작은, for example, a ball that is small, literally. But also, you want to be able to know how to use adjectives that were made from action verbs. So if I tell you, I'm writing this quickly because it's not part of the lesson, it's just for the prerequisites. 가다 means to go. You probably know the verb 가다. Can you say a person who goes to Korea? Using 가다. That's the same concept. You turn an action verb into an adjective by using it to describe a noun. So can you take 가다 and turn it into an adjective in the present tense? So a person, not a person who went, a person who will go, but a person who goes, present. And that would be I'm just going to write it here. 가는. 가는 사람. So you could say 한국에 가는 사람, a person who goes to Korea. If you know how to do this, you're ready for the lesson today as far as conjugation goes. If you don't know anything about this, this will not be the right lesson for you because it will go way over your head. But I would say if you feel comfortable doing this, at least in the present tense, you're going to be okay for today's lesson. Because the lesson we have today is an advanced level lesson. But I'm going to do my best to simplify it for even beginners. But I will say that unless you're familiar with how to conjugate verbs into adjectives, it will be a bit too difficult. So just keep that in mind, letting you know ahead what to expect for the lesson. So we're going to be learning an advanced grammar form. That means, on the other hand. And the way it works is surprisingly simple. 반면에, 반면에. Write that down. You now have the form. The a I wrote in parentheses because it's optional. However, most of the time, almost all of the time, it will be added. But just know that it's optional. Now, this word actually comes from hanja. You do not need to know the hanja. I'm just writing it down. I'm going to erase it too, because I'm not a hanja master. I can write it, but other people can write it better. Native speakers, I mean, of course. Probably not too many other learners, because you don't really need to know how to read and write hanja for most of it. 반면 comes from hanja, so it comes from Chinese characters. It's originally a Chinese word, I believe, anyway. It should be. So it comes from hanja, so Chinese characters. That means 반, opposite. 면, face or side. And then 에, on. So literally, what do we get? 반면에, on the opposite side or on the opposite face. That's what it literally means. And naturally, we would translate this as on the other hand. Same thing, on the opposite side, on the opposite face, on the other hand. So literally, it means what we're translating it to. Okay. You can start a sentence by just saying, on the other hand, just like you can in English. Because this concept is so simple, I'm not going to give you an example sentence of this, but you will see plenty of example sentences in this lesson. But you can start a sentence like this. 반면에, blah, 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 blah. Obviously replace the blah, blah, blah with intelligible words. But yeah, that's all there is to it for how to use it at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, now that's just what this word means. Let me show you though how it gets used most of the time. Because while you can start a sentence like this, 반면에, 99% of the time it is not used like this. It is actually used in the middle of a sentence to connect sentences together, like something, something. On the other hand, something, something. Just like we do in English. You wouldn't randomly just start a sentence by saying, on the other hand. Usually, you're going to have some context. Hey, this is true, but on the other hand, this. So you have A, on the other hand, B. That's how this form gets used almost all of the time. So that's what we're going to be talking about next. Fortunately, the way to make this is very simple. Let me just check the chat for a second. Paulina is saying, yeah, it couldn't be that simple. It's almost this simple, but just wait a second. Okay. I'm just going to write it up completely on the board first. Don't worry. It's even easier than this. I know it's a lot of stuff, but it's easier than this. So I'm just going to first write this up, and then I'll simplify it. So the way that it works is you'll have A. So one sentence, and then 반면에, and then B. So something A, on the other hand, B. And the way it works is the first part of the sentence. So the first part of the sentence, if you're using an action verb, you'll take the stem and you'll attach 는, followed by 반면에. Or if you're using a descriptive verb, you'll take the descriptive verb stem and you'll attach 은 if it ends in a consonant, or 니은 if it ends in a vowel, and then attach 반면에. Remember that some verbs will have their own conjugation rules. For example, if you're using the descriptive verb, actually, let me write that again. That looks messy. 춥다, to be cold. Well, you wouldn't get 춥은, you would get 추운, like that. Or if you're using the action verb, 살다, meaning to live, you wouldn't get 살는, you would get 사는. So there's a way that we can actually simplify this even further. This is the full form. This is also the full form. I wrote that weird. Adjective. You can just do it this way. It's the same thing. You take an adjective. Now that can be made from an action verb by attaching 는 to the stem, as we saw, or with a descriptive verb by attaching 은 or a 니은, as we saw, to the stem. But that will just give you the adjective form anyway. And then you attach 반면에, and you're done. Well, you have to finish the rest of the sentence. So let's look at 반면에 again. Actually, let me take a break. Let me take a break for a second. Is this okay? Is this clicking so far? This is all you need to do for conjugating it, though. We're not done talking about it, but this is all you need to do for conjugating it. Okay, I'm just going to take a break. I feel like I'm going a little fast if I continue right now. If it's like Japanese, the hard part is not overusing. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry. Good. Okay. Yeah, like I said, this is an advanced topic because, well, we'll talk about why, but I want it to be understandable for beginners as well. So hopefully I'm succeeding in that. At least you should be able to read it, even if you're not using it yourself. Oh, that's good. Today I've got some 유자차, some citron tea. It's like you shaved an orange and lemon. It's like a different kind of fruit. That's kind of like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like you shave an orange and a lemon and you add sugar to it and then boil it with water. It's pretty good. It's common for people to drink it when they're like sick. I'm not sick, but it tastes good. It's kind of sweet, a little bit like the rind of like a citrus fruit. So tiny bit bitter also. Okay. So now that you've got this, now let's make it a little bit more complicated. No, actually, I'm just joking. It's actually it. This is it. I promise you, this is all you need to know. So here's what it literally means. While adjective, whatever that is, on the other hand, or on the other side, or opposite face, like that. So what you get is kind of a literal meaning of on the opposite side of adjective. And more naturally translated, you get on the other side of adjective. And even more naturally translated, you can get while adjective. So while the first part of the sentence is true, on the other side, on the other hand, be the rest of the sentence. So that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you need to know. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing you need to know about this form. It's not that common. This form has a little bit of a fancy feel to it. Not a lot, but a little bit of a fancy feel. You're not going to be using it to your friends unless you're trying to have like some discussion, like a serious discussion about something in depth. Unless you're having some in-depth discussion, like about something's pros and cons, you're not going to be using this form too often. You might read it, you might hear it used sometimes, but it's not something you're going to be using every single day in your conversations. If you want to say, this is true, but on the other hand, this, there's a much easier way you can do it. You can just say, but, however. You can use the 지만 ending. You can use the 대 form. That's all you really need to do. If you want to emphasize, though, that there is an opposite side to this, and on that opposite side, on the other hand, then use this form. It won't sound weird. It just sounds a little bit fancy. So keep that in mind. It's not extremely common, but it's useful to know. It will be on a grammar test like that. So you still need to know it. It's just not something you're going to be using every day. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So that's all you need to know about this form. Let's do an example. Let's do an example together. I'm going to give you just the first word. Okay. While my dad can clean well, so I'll just give you some words. While my dad can clean well, oh yeah, well, you're going to probably want to use tired, just in case you didn't know. You probably already knew that's tired, but okay. Now you have every word you need. While my dad cleans well, on the other hand, he can't cook. So my dad cleans well, but on the other hand, he can't cook. So go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try to make the sentence if you already got it. But for those of you who are still kind of worried how to start, again, if you don't know how to conjugate adjectives, don't even bother. It's going to be a mess, and you're going to get mad, and you're going to be like, why can't I do this? No, you can do it. You just don't know how to conjugate the verbs yet. So don't worry about it if you don't know how to make adjectives. If you do know how to make an adjective, here's what we're going to be starting with. Here's what you want to get. On the other hand of, or on the opposite side of, literally. So on the other hand of, my dad cleans well. And then after 반면에, you're going to have he can't cook, or just cannot cook, more simply. So go ahead and give it a try. And if you still don't know where to start, again, just sit back and relax and just enjoy the lesson for the rest of this class. Don't worry about it. Or you could try it out if you want, but yeah. Okay, let's see. 아빠는, okay, let's see. First one. 청소를 잘하는 반면에 요리를 못해요. Wonderful. Are you a Korean? You have a Korean name. Christetic, 아빠는 잘 청소하는 반면에 요리하지 못해요. Very, very close. Yes, very good. Typically, though, I'll tell you that if you can separate the parts of the verb, so if you have 하다 and it's attached to a noun, you're going to stick 잘 in the middle of there. So you wouldn't use it as one verb, but you would put 잘, like you would say 청소 잘하다 instead of 잘 청소하다. Well, you can use it that way, but it'll be more natural to put it in the middle whenever it can be separated. Because technically it's two words. It's 하다 to do and 청소 cleaning. So you're saying do cleaning well. So 청소를 잘하다, to do well cleaning is what you're saying. But if you say 잘 청소하다, it's kind of like you're saying to do well cleaning. Like, it makes sense. It's just a little bit less common, a little bit less natural that way. But I'm not going to mark off any points if you didn't get that, because that's more of a conversational level. If you got the conjugation correct, 하는 반면에, you got this one right. Okay, let's see who else got it. MJ Hammer, 아빠는 청소 잘하는 반면에, 요리 못해요. Perfect. Paulina, 청소하는 반면에 요리 잘 못해요. Nice. You got the 잘 못해요 part. Perfect. Yeah. And 청소하는, okay, 하는. I'm not Korean. Greetings from the Netherlands. Nice. Okay, Lexica, 아빠는 청소하는 반면에 요리할 수 없어요. Okay, nice. 할 수 없어요 is totally fine. 아버지는, you're being very polite there, Gary. Not 아빠, it's 아버지. Okay, I'll totally accept that. 청소를 잘 한 반면에, okay, you're not wrong, but we're going to talk about that. But it should be 하는, since we're saying that my father cleans, not past tense cleaned, which would be 한, but cleans, 하는. 청소 잘 하는 반면에, okay, all right. 요리 안 해요. Okay, Lydia, 안 해요 is doesn't cook, but it does not mean cannot cook. It just means does not. Like he could, but he won't. Like will not sort of meaning. So that's a good distinction that if you say 안 하다 or 하지 않아요, it does not mean that you can't. It just means you don't. I know it's not really part of the lesson, but actually. I've heard people say this a lot. I've heard lots of Korean learners say this. 한국어 잘 하지 않아요. So I don't speak Korean well is what they think that they're saying. But what they're saying is, I just don't. I could, but I tend to not use Korean. I will not use Korean often. I just won't use it, is what it means. What they mean is I can't speak Korean well. That's because we say don't and can't in the same way a lot of times when it's a skill. So like I don't speak Korean. I don't cook. I don't sing like that. I don't dance. But what we really mean is I can't. In Korean, though, they're very distinct. Don't, like do, does not, will not, won't, and cannot are different concepts in Korean. So you wouldn't want to say 하지 않아요, because that's saying I just don't speak Korean. 잘 못해요, 못하다, or 하지 못해요 is okay. 못해요, so 못하다 means you cannot. Or 할 수 없어요 would work as well, like I'm not able to speak Korean well, though a little bit formal sounding. This one's better. 한국어 잘 못해요. Although if you said 하지 않아요, they're going to believe you. Oh, I guess they really don't speak Korean very well because they made that mistake. But it's a really common and really easy to make mistake. So I just wanted to point it out. Okay, so my dad cleans well. Okay, here is the sentence. 아빠는 청소를 잘 하는 반면에. So, my dad, 아빠. It's not going to be someone else's father because we're saying 아빠, which is a very familiar version of dad. 청소하다 is to clean, so 잘, well. So, while my father cleans well, or does cleaning well, he's good at cleaning, we would say. On the other hand, 반면에, 요리를 못해요. He can't cook. So while my father can clean well, on the other hand, he can't cook. So really, 반면에 really just functions, it just functions actually as like a sentence connector, like you're saying, but. 아빠는 청소를 잘 하는데 요리를 못해요. 아빠는 청소를 잘 하지만 요리를 못해요. So it functions in the same way, but this is what adds emphasis to the fact that you're saying something that's contrary or unexpected. It's completely the opposite because it's on the other side, on the other hand. So you're presenting two things that are kind of opposites from each other. So it just adds more emphasis to it. But you do not need to use it if you want to make this type of sentence with comparisons. You can just use any of the other forms you use. Okay. 아빠는 청소를 잘하는데, sorry, I almost even just used it because it works. 아빠는 청소를 잘하는 반면에 요리를 못해요. So while my dad can clean well, on the other hand, he can't cook. Do Do you want to try another one? Should I give you the next one too? What do you think? I'm going to start writing it. The first part I'll have to give you. I don't think many people would be able to get, let me rewrite this. I don't think many people would be able to get it if I gave the whole sentence. So I have to give the first part of it. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Cody Smith. 아버지는 잘 청소하는 반면에 요리를 못하셔요. Oh, I see, like 못하셔요. Okay. You can just do 못하세요 is fine. The 셔, if you use 셔요, 셔 for other forms besides verb stems, like, sorry, not stems, verb endings, like if you're saying 셔서 is okay, or 셨어요, all of that is okay. But when you're simply using the 요 form, if you use 셔요, it sounds more like a dialect. In standard Korean, it becomes 세요 whenever it's the 요 form. So just know that it will become 세요 in the 요 form. Okay, so 산을 돌다 is to go around the mountain, like to circle, literally to circle the mountain. So 산을 돌아서 가다 is to go around, to go, 가다, to go by circling around the mountain. So 건 is 것은. So going by circling around the mountain is safe. But on the other hand, it takes a long time. So what we're saying again is, while it's safe, or more safe, while it's safe to go around the mountain, we already have this part. While it's safe, on the other hand, it takes a long time. I'm going to give you a few verbs you might use. Again, while it's safe to go around the mountain, on the other hand, it takes a long time. You might need these verbs. 안전하다 is to be safe. 걸리다 is to take time. I'm not going to tell you how it's used though. I want to challenge you a little bit. But 걸리다 means to take time. So 산을 돌아서 가는 건 safe. On the other hand, it takes a long time. You can write it, if you can't think of the way to say a long time, you can maybe change it up a little bit. I just kind of want to see what you can do with it. It's a little bit different. I mean, a little bit difficult of compared to before. It's a different type of sentence and it's difficult. Yeah, you got it, Cody. I mean, you can say shoyo, it's fine. Just note it has more of a dialect feel to it. Okay, MJ Hammer. I'm skipping to the members first, but I will read the other one, so don't worry about it. If anyone was like, why is Billy not reading mine? I will read it. I'm just doing the members first. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 시간이 많이 걸려. MJ Hammer, that is wonderful. Let's see what other people have. 안전하는, okay. Carrie, so for 안전하다, I'll let you can rewrite this one, but for 안전하다, is it an action verb or a descriptive verb? So that will affect your conjugation, but the rest of your sentence is perfect. So just check the conjugation and you can rewrite that and I'll read it again. Paulina, 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 오래 걸려요. Perfect. Okay, let's see what else we have while I'm waiting for that one. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 시간이 많이 걸려요. Nice, Gemma. Brian, 아버님. Oh, you're doing the first one. 잘하는 반면에 요리를 못해요. Yes, that's you have a typo. You wrote 만면에. It should be 반면에, but that's an easy typo. I think you know that. So good job. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전. Again, for 현 as well. 안전하다. Is this an action verb or a descriptive verb? So think about that when you're just deciding how you're going to conjugate it. Obviously, if you were to say 안전하는, everyone's going to understand what you mean. So it's not a problem of being understood. It's more of a problem of just being more correct. Okay, let's see. Who else got 안전? Okay, Sarah. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 시간이. You have a small typo for 많이, but I think that's okay. I think you knew that it was a typo. Perfect. Bonnie, 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 오래 걸려요. Nice. Nice. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 많이 걸려요. Okay? Learn Korean with Ari. I have a feeling that you're Korean. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 시간이 많이 걸려요. Nice. Learn Korean with Ari. Are you a Korean? I'm gonna check. No, maybe not. I can't watch the videos because it'll play over the stream. But nice, perfect sentence. You might as well be Korean. 안전한. Yes, Carrie. 안전한. Perfect. I didn't want to give you the answer. I was just wanted to point you in that direction. Okay. 산을 돌아서 가는 건. So 산 is mountain, 돌다 is like to go around. So 산을 돌아서 가다 is to go around the mountain. 건, 것은. So as for going around the mountain, well, 안전하다 is to be safe. So 안전한 반면에. So while it's safe, on the other hand, or on the other side, 시간이 오래 걸려요. 시간이 걸리다 is to take time. 오래 is a long time. So 시간이 오래 걸려요. It takes a long time. So while it's safer to go around the mountain, it takes a long time, is what you're saying. Or on the other hand, it takes a long time. So the context to this is that you're weighing your options. You're saying, well, yeah, going around the mountain is safe, but on the other hand, it takes a long time. Okay. 산을 돌아서 가는 건 안전한 반면에 시간이 오래 걸려요. So while it's safer to go around the mountain, it takes a long time. While it's safer to go around the mountain, on the other hand, it takes a long time. How are we on time? Terrible, but it's okay. We're going to do it. We're going to keep going. Okay. This one's going to be simple. Okay, if you're a beginner and you haven't been able to make a sentence yet, this one's for you because you only have to fill in a very small piece. Okay, 이 강아지는, so this puppy, 크기가, we're going to need to say while it is small. So it's small, but on the other hand. So small, the verb for small, to be small. 짖다 is to yell, or in this case for an animal, it's to bark. 짖는 소리, so the sound of it barking, 커요, it's big, literally. So you're saying it's loud. 소리가 크다, the sound is big is how you say something's loud. So while this dog the size is small, on the other hand, its bark is very loud, or it barks very loud. Okay, what would you fill in? Again, it's only a very small piece you have to do, and the reason is I don't think I'd be able to have you put together this whole thing. You'd have to know a bunch of verbs for it. But this is for beginners. Paulina, 크기가 작은, okay, perfect. 작은 반면에 진다. Okay, perfect, MJ Hammer. Okay, let's see who else. 고빌리 선생님, 나는 채널을 처음이에요. Okay, let's see. 짖는 소리가 커요. Nice. Nice, Christetic. Nice, Hyun. Nice, Gemma. Nice, Kingu. I'm just looking at the conjugation for 반면에. I'm not reading the whole sentence. That way I can check everyone's. I'm just checking the conjugation. The rest of it should be exactly what I've written here. Bonnie, nice. Nix again, nice. I can't read it, but nice. Kevin, nice. And Learn Korean with Audie, nice. Nice, Lexica. Oh, wait, Lexica, you're missing the form. You're missing the form. Quick, fix it. Fix it before I see it. Go back in time. Okay, I didn't see it. It says message retracted. I never got to see it. You went into the quantum realm and rewound time. Yes, Carrie. Perfect. Oh, that tastes good. Okay. Typing too fast. Yeah, it happens. You get it all perfect except that the form we're learning today is missing. But I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, and you know where it should go. 이 강아지는, so this dog, literally this puppy, but they use 강아지 just for any dog to call it in a cute way. 이 강아지는 크기. 크기 is a size. 크기가 작은 반면에, so while the size is small, 작다, on the other hand, 짖다 is to bark in this case. 소리가 커요. It's loud. So its bark is loud. It has a loud bark. So while this dog's size is small, on the other hand, it has a loud bark. 이 강아지는 크기가 작은 반면에 짖는 소리가 커요. Okay, I have one more for this form, and then we have a slightly different form we're going to be doing, but it's actually the same one, so don't worry. Nothing's getting harder here. Nothing's getting more difficult. We're just going to do another layer so that we get the full form. Okay, this one is... Let's see, how much can I... Okay, I'm going to give you the beginning. So maybe we're at the E here. 이 TV는 What space do we have left? A little bit. Okay. Let's see, can I do this? Okay. This is quite long. If you're a beginner, just try to do the first part of the sentence. And I'm going to give you the verb, but I'm not going to tell you how to conjugate it. 다양하다. 다양하다 means to be various. 기능 is feature. So this TV has various features, 다양하다. But on the other hand, because the price is not expensive, so it's going to end with 안아서. It's very popular. 인기가 많아요. So while it has various features, on the other hand, the price is not expensive, so it's very popular. If you're a beginner, just try to conjugate the first verb right here. It's okay. I'll accept it. If you're a little bit better, a little bit higher level, I don't mean better, but better at Korean. We're all good here. Better at Korean, then go ahead and try to conjugate the rest as well. So various features. On the other hand, though, the price is not expensive. I'm not going to tell you any verbs or any words for that. Let's see how you can do. Lexica, yes, you got it. I just checked yours now. Okay, Cody Smith seems to be the first member to attempt it. You changed it to television. Okay, fine. You didn't like my TV. You can say television. Television as well. It's totally fine. 다양한 반면에 비싸지 않아서 perfect. One of these days I'll do a Korean lesson all in ASMR style. Okay, we're going to learn. No, I don't think it'll work. I'm just going to be laughing the whole time. Okay. MJ Hammer. 다양한 반면에 값이 비싸지 않아서 인기가 많아요. Very nice. Paulina. 값이 비싸. Oh, you have a typo for... typo. Fix that. You got to travel back in time and fix it before I saw it. I didn't see it yet. Smith TV. Okay. That's the members until they message me again. So let me check everyone else. 다양한, oh yeah, 현. 다양하다, is it an action verb? Is it doing an action? 다양하다 means to be various. Or is it a description of something? Is it a descriptive verb? Use that when you're deciding how to conjugate it. Okay, let's see. Chresthetic. 다양한, perfect, chresthetic. Learn Korean with Adi. Perfect. I'm not surprised. Are you Korean? Learn Korean with Adi. I can't see your channel because, like I said, I can't play the videos, and I can't read the language either. Are you a native Korean? Nix again. 반면에 값이 비싸지 않아서 인기가 많아요. Okay? 가격이 비싸지 않아. Perfect. Flender Frosh. Apier Boliglio. 가격 perfect. Maddie. Perfect. Sarah Ann. Perfect. Kevin. Perfect. Bonnie. Perfect. I like you're doing 값은. Okay, as for the price, that's nice. And then Hyun, perfect. Can I get some more perfects in the chat? Everyone comment perfect to have better Korean before the day's over. I swear it'll work. That a little nicer. I have standards. Yes. Perfect. Hyun asks, does it matter if it's 값이 or 값은? You wouldn't use 은 typically, but I mean, I can't tell you what to do because it just changes the nuance of your sentence. The topic marker, it's a huge topic, so maybe I won't go into it today, but it just changes the nuance of it. So it's okay. You might not need to change that nuance, but it's not up to me to decide. It's the speaker's decision. Perfect. Maddie says, 고양이의 소리 같은 perfect. Something like that, yeah. That could work. I'm not a cat, though. I do consider myself more of a cat person than a dog person because I grew up, we had cats at my house, so I'm more used to cats. Dogs require so much attention and care. Like, they really want you to pay attention to them. Like, they just get bored. They just go crazy if you're not playing with them. Cat is like, leave me alone. I don't know. I just like that. It's like, how dare you talk to me? Don't touch me. Oh, okay. You can touch me there. All right. That's okay. Okay. That's enough. That's enough. That's a cat. Okay. 이 TV는, so this television, 기능 is feature, 다양하다 is various. So while this television, what was that? I almost did like a stereotypical Texas. While this TV here, sorry, I remember a couple people actually saying they are from Texas. So I know you don't talk like that. At least not when other people are around. When the tourists are around, you talk like this. Then when all the tourists leave, you're like, while this TV here, that's what you do in secret. Right? Okay. 이 TV는 기능이 다양한 반면에. So while this television has many features, on the other hand, 가격이, the price, 비싸다, to be expensive, but here 비싸지 않아서, because it's not expensive, 인기가 많아요. Literally, it has a lot of popularity. So it is very popular. So this television has various features, but on the other hand, it's not expensive, so it's really popular. Team cat people. Yeah, team cat. Not that I dislike dogs. I mean, dogs have their own charm. Dogs are like, they're dumb, but it's kind of fun, right? Okay, some dogs are just smart, but you know, in general, it's like they're like fun to play with. You know, you're bored, you want to play. Cat's gonna be like, get out of here. Get out of here. But a dog will be like, I was ready yesterday. So yeah, they have different appeals. Definitely. Joe Turner says, yes, we do. Lexica says, how's a cat supposed to get in the requisite 18 hours of sleep? That's it? That's all? But yeah, maybe it's accurate. I haven't actually timed it before. If humans keep bothering them, yeah. Okay. So, 이 TV는 기능이 다양한 반면에 가격이 비싸지 않아서 인기가 많아요. So we're not done, but I think this marker is done. It's like spreading stuff around now. We'll see. I'll give it one more chance, and then it's gone. Okay. There's one more thing we have to know. Actually, let me just do it. Do it all together. And then this form, like we learned that this form uses an adjective. Well, the adjective can also be in the past tense if you want. Now, it's not going to be in the future tense, but you can also use it in the past tense. So if you already know how to conjugate an adjective, either with an action verb or a descriptive verb, into the past tense, you don't need this form. Just do that. But if you don't, here's a reminder of how the form works. You take an action verb stem if you're using an action verb, and you attach un if that ends in a consonant or a nian if it ends in a vowel. So 하다 normally would be 하는 as an action verb, but here it would become 한. 먹다, to eat, would become 먹은. And then you attach 반면에. Or if you're using a descriptive verb, you get the verb stem in the past tense, which will end with these double letters, double 시옷 letters, and then you'll attach 던. So 하다 would be 했던. And this is the normal way to make the descriptive verb into this is the normal way, though, to make a descriptive verb into a past tense adjective. So this is not a unique conjugation. These are not new rules. You might already know these by heart. So yeah, 하다 here would become 했던. So 했던 반면에. Or if it was 하다 as an action verb, 한 반면에. For example, 작다, to be small. Before we had 작은 반면에, because that's present tense. Well, now in past tense we have past tense 작다 is 작았어요. But here, once we get to the double letters, we stop. 작았, instead of 작았어요, we get 작았던 반면에. So now we have while something was adjective, on the other hand, be, the rest of the sentence. But the way it works is the exact same. I will say, though, most of the time when you're using this form 반면에, it doesn't just go at the very beginning of a sentence randomly. It also doesn't go with the past tense. Most of the time, it's just going to go with the present tense. But it's fine to use it with the past tense as well. You might see it. Just know, most of the time, though, it's just going to be used with the present tense. So I have two examples. I have one example of an action verb in the past tense and one example of a descriptive verb in the past tense with this. So let's do an action verb first. I want you to finish this sentence. Actually, I don't even want to give you that. You could do that. Okay. 지난주에는, so last week, it kept raining. So it continued raining last week. But on the other hand, this week, 이번 주, this week is hot, 덥다, hot, and 건조하다, dry. So while it kept raining last week, while it was continuing to rain last week, on the other hand, this week is hot and dry. I'm going to just tell you that for right now. I'm going to give you one of the words in a second, but see if you can form the sentence just from that. So last week, while it kept raining last week, again, kept raining, continued raining. You'll need a adverb for that. On the other hand, this week is hot and dry. So try to make this sentence. Again, these are advanced level sentences, but if you're a beginner and you know the verb to rain, and you know how to make the adverb for continually or to keep doing something, you can do this. Mike PNYC says cat people are scary. I don't understand why. We just like to be left alone. We're just like the cats. We're like, someone rings on our door, or our doorbell, we don't think, oh, who could it be? We're like, oh no, who is it? You look through the little peephole first, you're like, go away. That's cat person. I can relate to that. Like, don't come to my house. Oh, it's a package. Oh, okay, that's fine. Don't come to my, oh, I ordered it. Oh, okay, that's okay then. You want to sell me some? Please don't make me say no. Just don't come here next time. Okay, let's see what we've got. Paulina, 지난주에는 비가 계속 온 반면에 이번 주에는 덥고 건조하네요. Perfect, Paulina. Perfect. MJ Hammer, 비가 계속 온 반면에 perfect. 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 small typo, Cody, but I'm sure you see it. So not 지난주, but 지난주에는 비가 계속 왔던 반면에. So not 왔던 here, but 온 반면에. You could do 왔던, but you don't need to make it that double past tense since it's an action verb. Just 온 is fine for the past tense. 비가 계속 온 반면에 이번 주는 덥고 건조하네요. Okay, so that's the members. Let me check everyone else's sentences really quick as well. Let's see who was first here. I think Christetic. Okay. 비가 계속 온 반면에. All right. 현, 온 반면에. Nice. 내린 반면에. Very nice. You can also say 비가 내리다. Same meaning as 비가 오다. Sarah, and you'll have to change your name or write something. I'm just going to keep saying it both ways. 온 반면, perfect. 계속 내린 반면에, okay. 계속 온 반면에, 계속, okay. It would actually be 계속, which is, you can search that as well. But 계속 just by itself is fine. 계속 온 반면에, okay. 이 here, you don't need 계속으로. It's just 계속 works by itself. Let's see. 비가 온 반면에, okay. And then, let's see here. Peter 계속하다, it would be if it were an action verb, but you are not the one that's doing the rain, and something else isn't what's making the rain. It simply is the rain that's coming or falling. So you wouldn't use P with the object marker in that way. 계속하다 is to continually do. Literally 계속, continually, 하다, to do. 계속 온 반면에, Lydia Tyler, yes. Or Taylor, sorry. 지난 and 온, you got it, Cody. 계속 내린 반면에, nice, Carrie. It's pronounced like Sarah or Sarah. Okay, well, those are the same. All right. Awesome. Again, most of the time you don't need it in past tense, but you could. Oops. That's what happens when I think of the next word while I'm still writing the current word. Okay. Actually, I don't like how I smashed it together because it's going to be in the stream later. There we go. There we go. Okay. I like that a little better. All right. Except that I erased this. 지난주에는 계속 비가 온 반면에 이번 주는 덥고 건조하네요. 지난주, last week. So last week, 계속 비가 오다. It kept raining. Here, 비가 온 반면에. So, rained, past tense. So on the other hand, so while it was raining continually last week, on the other hand, 이번 주, this week is 덥고, hot, and 건조하다, dry. So this week's hot and dry. So while last week it kept raining, on the other hand, this week it's hot and dry. 지난주에는 계속 비가 온 반면에 이번 주는 덥고 건조하네요. Okay, last sentence. This one is going to be with a descriptive verb. Also in the past tense. So that way you get a chance to practice with every possible way that you're going to see this form used. Okay. Actually, yeah, I'll give you this word. Okay. That restaurant was delicious. 음식점 is a restaurant. That restaurant was delicious, but on the other hand, the price was very expensive. This is the last sentence for today. Take a minute. So that restaurant was delicious, but on the other hand, the price, 가격이, 가격, price, the price was very expensive. So it was delicious, but on the other hand, it was very expensive. Hey, Carrie! Carrie! Oh, thank you so much. Let me do 20 dabs for Carrie while everyone else is writing the sentences. It's a good timing, too. I was just taking a break anyway with all the sentences. Okay, we got to get some stars. Dab party. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Oh, my arms. Okay, let's see what we got. MJ Hammer. 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 너무 비쌌어요. Okay? Wonderful. I wasn't even expecting you to put 너무 in there, but that's really good. Perfect use of that. Paulina. 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 정말 비쌌어요. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's see. Now let's look at everyone else's. Ayakata, we're using the past tense. So not it is delicious, but it was delicious. Prosthetic. Perfect. 되게 비쌌어요. Nice. Very, very conversational sounding there. 되게. I wouldn't use it if you're trying to sound extra polite, but it's fine. It's not rude or anything. 맛있게 먹은. You're just changing it. But I wanted it to be a descriptive verb here. But yeah, I mean, it works technically. Can't take off any points. Paulina. Paulina, hold on. I have to look up the currency. I don't know why, but YouTube doesn't convert it. YouTube never automatically converts it. That's like $7. Thank you so much. Let me give you 7 dabs here. Some 7 kimchi dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you again. Really appreciate it, both of you. Both Carrie and Paulina. Okay, let me check the other sentences here. Cody, we got one. 아주 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 너무 비쌌어요. Okay? Perfect. 그 음식점은 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 너무 비쌌어요. Perfect. Lexica, perfect. Okay, let's see what else. I was up to a peer you. 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 너무 높습니다. The price is too high. Okay? Price is too high. The price is wrong. Okay. Let's see what else. Gemma. 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 아주 비쌌어요. Okay? Maddie. 가격이 엄청 비싸죠. Okay? 엄청 nice. Bonnie. 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 아주 비싸. Okay, small typo, Bonnie, but I think if you look at it again, you'll... Oh, you caught it. I see. I looked down and you caught it. Perfect. Okay, learn Korean with Audie. Perfect. 진짜 비쌌어요. Nix again. 맛있었던 반면에 가격... Perfect. Sarah Ann. Perfect. Who else? Oh, Bonnie, I see you rewrote it. Perfect. Patch 83. Small typo with 비싸다. So it should be a double shield for 비싸다. Not 비쌌어요, but 비쌌어요. Other than that, perfect. Okay. Any other sentences? Let me give you the answer I have. If I said perfect, though, your answer's fine. So it doesn't have to be the exact same thing that I got. Yeah, and of course, I write the same typo I was thinking of while... It's like I say, yeah, don't do that typo, and then I'm thinking about it, and then I start writing it. I'm like, no. Okay. 그 음식점은, so that restaurant, 맛있었던 반면에, so it was delicious. 맛있었어요. 맛있었던 반면에, but on the other hand, 가격, the price, 많이 비쌌어요. The price was very expensive. So that restaurant, while it was very delicious, on the other hand, the price was really expensive. 그 음식점은 맛있었던 반면에 가격이 많이 비쌌어요. And that's the lesson. Really quick announcements. Only 3 more live classes until the summer break, which will be like 3 months long. It'll be like over 3 months long for the break. It'll be like most of May, all of June, all of July, and maybe sometime in the middle of August we'll start up again. So if you have a request, make sure to get in your requests for topics tonight, because tomorrow morning I'll be making the final vote for the last topics that we're going to teach for the remaining 3 classes that we have. Obviously, it's not permanently gone. It'll be on hiatus for a few months while I'm in Korea. But yeah, just letting you know, 3 more classes after today. Other than that, yeah, that's the whole lesson. Any questions about the lesson? Any questions about anything or other comments you'd like to make? I'm going to stick around for about 15 minutes or so. So feel free to ask anything you'd like. How was the lesson? Let me know your impressions about how the lesson went, if you understood it, if you have concerns about it. Yeah. Oh, and you can also get the outline for today's class and all the sentences on my Patreon as well. This will be up as soon as the live stream's over. I'll upload it a few minutes after it's finished. Okay, let's see. Maddie. Oh yeah, I only checked the ending ton, so I didn't notice that you had just written 맛있던. Yeah, it would be 맛있었던. Ton can be used in that way, but only with action verbs. For descriptive verbs, it would have to be for the actual past tense to make it like that. Paul Walter says, another benefit to doing this class is I get to see handwritten Hangul. P-up looks way different. Yeah. So the stroke order is like this. So this is how you'll see it typed, or you might see it like just typed like this. Some people do it like this. Sometimes you'll see it like this, like they're doing these two, but then they do these together as one. Some people do this. I see this a lot. And then some people, when they do the double, they'll just do that. So you kind of have to be, well, not quite that long, but you kind of have to be prepared for many different variations. I'm not a fan of this kind though. I kind of like doing this. So I write my P-ups like this, but that's just how I do it. Because for me, that's fast. But for other people, it might be faster to do it like that. I don't know. I kind of like this. I'm just a fan of this way because it looks like the letter, but you can do it really fast. However, as a result, if you're moving your arm to the right too quickly, you get something that looks like this, which can be difficult to read. Like, I know what it is because I wrote it, but it should be right. It looks like 12, but it should be stuck together. At least. So you have to be careful about that. I would stick to this one if you're learning. That way it's going to definitely be recognizable. Paulina says, is this form somehow similar to 긴 하지만? In overall meaning, any of the contrasting forms like 지만, like but, work because it's like this, but this. So you could replace it. Like you could say 음식점은 맛있었지만 가격이 많이 비쌌어요. And you have the same sentence. You just don't have that extra emphasis of saying this is on the other side of that. On the other hand, if I have to compare. So it's the same thing. Like if you don't know how to use this form, you can just fall back on 지만. But it's not related to it. I get so nervous answering and then deleting my answer before sending. Yeah, no, it's fine. I get it. How do I write my double ones? Oh, I'm not sure if I just answered the question, but I just do it like two. I do two of them like that. Or some people do that. If I was writing for an essay, I would probably do it like that if I was trying to be fast. But most of the time I just do it twice. Technically it should be like this. So if you want to do like, here we gotta get some like nice calligraphy here. Like I don't have very nice handwriting. I'll be the first to admit that. My handwriting in English isn't very good either. So you can get something like bang, like that. Although it wouldn't need to be that long. But I don't write like that usually. I think it's a little bit too fancy. So I would just do, actually I wouldn't even do that. Like that. That's how I'd write bang. Yeah. I usually don't do the thing where I connect two of them together like that. Like I would write them separately. So some people like connecting them together. I don't. I prefer doing them as separate. But yeah, you could do like that because that's all it really is. It's just this with the hat on top anyway. Paul Walther says if I don't stick to the print version one, I don't know if I'll be able to read what I wrote. That's fine. Stick to whatever you're comfortable with. And I used to use the print version too when I was learning. I turned out fine. I mean that in an actual way. Like you'll be fine if you use the print version. Okay. How is 음식점 different than 식당? 음식점 literally means a store that sells. 점 is like a store. 음식 is food, so it's like saying a store that sells food, a food that sells store. Versus 식당 is a cafeteria literally, so that includes not just a restaurant, but that can be like an actual cafeteria. Would also be called 식당, like just a big hall. The reason is 식 means food and 당 means a hall, so it's more of like the area where you go to eat versus a restaurant, like a company, like a store that's selling you food. But in practice, both of them mean restaurant if you want the translation. But if you're talking about a cafeteria, you couldn't say 음식점. You would say 식당. It's the 식당 area, like your school's 식당. Hime-sama says, descriptive verb means adjective. Not quite. Adjective is a word that we use in English to describe a noun. So an adjective describes a noun, basically. We say something is green, something is blue in English. And in Korean, if you're talking about the same concept, they don't have an adjective in Korean. There is no term for adjective. They have what they do have is a word called 형용사, which is what we would translate as descriptive verb. It's a verb, essentially. A particle that describes is what it means. Or a piece of grammar that describes something. So I would say an adjective would be more like the conjugated form. And I prefer calling it a verb, a descriptive verb, because that implies that you have to conjugate it. Versus if I call it an adjective, then it's kind of confusing that you have to conjugate an adjective. And I see lots of people misusing them because they think that they're adjectives in English. They're kind of equating it to English adjective. So if you know that it's separate, if you know that it conjugates, it doesn't matter what you call it. But if you're a beginner, I think it's more clear to call it a descriptive verb so that your expectations are set that you have to do something with this verb. You can't just throw it in a sentence. Like in Spanish, adjectivo. I don't know Spanish. No hablo español. Lydia says, which of 고 있다 or 는 중이다 is more commonly used? They're both commonly used. They have different meanings. If you're asking really, though, just which one is more common, then that's like saying, is the word apple more common or asparagus more common? And yeah, apple is more commonly used, but that doesn't say anything about asparagus. So 고 있다 is more commonly used, but they're not the same meaning. I have a whole live stream, though, about those. If you're curious, like, what's the difference between them? But yeah, they're not the same thing. In English, though, they can have some of the same meanings, but Amy Lynn, New York says, not advanced yet, just listening while I paint. I have all your books now. Nice, thank you. Maddie says, are there real life situations during life in South Korea where you need to legibly write by hand? Of course, all the time. Anytime you're writing something and someone else is looking, you're going to want to write legibly. If I have a shopping list and I'm carrying it with me, I like paper shopping lists because I feel like sometimes you go to a store and the internet doesn't work randomly, right? Like in the back of the store, it doesn't work and I can't see my shopping list. So I just like a piece of paper that I could just pull out. I would write legibly because, you know, you go to a store and you're looking for something and say you can't speak Korean. No, I can, but let's say you're still learning it, but you have everything written in Korean. You can just show it to them. Someone might ask you for directions. You want to draw a little map for them instead of trying to, if you don't know how to say how to get somewhere, you can draw something down and write the store name or something like that. People might ask you how you spell your name. And you could write it, parts of it in the air if it's not easy to spell. Yeah, there are lots of situations where you'll write. Let's see, I'm just going to read up because I skipped some of the questions. Mela Bahita asks a good question. Do you have any tips for making your comprehension faster? Faster comprehension. If you do not know the word in the first place, then no matter how slow someone speaks, you won't understand. And if you already know the word pretty well, then no matter how fast someone speaks, you're going to understand it. Now that kind of might sound a little bit weird, like I know this word, but how come I can't understand it in speech? Well, you did understand that word, you just didn't understand the rest of the sentence. That might be what it is. But typically a person's speed, how fast they talk, isn't going to be the factor that restricts you from understanding Korean. So if I meet someone who speaks really fast for a Korean speaker, that's not going to make it harder for me to understand what they're saying any more than if they were speaking slowly, assuming I know all the words that they're using. If you don't know the words very well that they're using, then that's when it can cause problems because you're trying to think, what did they say? But they're going too fast. So then you might think, oh, they're speaking too fast. But in reality, it's not that they're speaking too fast. It's that you're not familiar with those words they're using very much. So I would focus more on practicing by listening to slower conversations that you can keep up with and get good at listening to the slower stuff. And then if you were to play the same slower conversation at a faster speed, you shouldn't have any problem understanding it. You can try this out. If you go to any YouTube channel or anywhere that teaches Korean that has an audio file that comes with the book or audio file with the lesson, and it has a transcript. Even my books have this, but Talk to Me in Korean stuff has this. You can find lots of YouTube channels that have it, like listening practice. Listen to it until you can understand it 100%. So find something that's matching your level. So if you're a beginner, find a beginner level listening practice. If you're intermediate, find something beginner or intermediate like that. Listen to it until you can understand it 100%, and then do YouTube speed and click 2%. So it's twice as fast. It's unnaturally fast. You'll have no problem understanding it if you can understand the words first slow. But I wouldn't practice by listening to things quickly because you want to be able to practice by understanding to get faster at understanding, to get better at understanding. And you don't need to listen to it fast to get better at that. You can listen to it slow. Yeah. If you know it, like if I tell you that sagwa means apple and you're someone speaking, they go, sagwa, are you suddenly not going to understand it because it's faster? No. But if you didn't know that word very well, then yes. If you're like, oh, wait, what's that word? I forgot. Then yeah, it's gone by and now you've missed your chance. You can't understand. But it really is just, do you know the words in the sentence? Can you understand it? Then yes, you can understand it when it's spoken quickly. So I've never had issues. I thought it would be an issue, but I never had issues with people speaking Korean quickly and not being able to understand them. Whereas I thought that was a problem. Really, it wasn't. Okay, Hyun asks, can I use 긴 하다? Okay, I'll answer that. First, let me answer lexicas. And any advice on learning to read more quickly? Related answer, reading more quickly is the same thing, but you'll get better at reading Korean the more Korean that you can speak and understand. So I guess here's a real world example. This is not a brag. I'm not bragging. I don't read. I don't read books very much. I love reading articles. I'll read news articles. I'll read technical articles. I have Korean books that I use for studying. So I read, but I don't read like fiction books. I don't know. I just haven't found any Korean fiction books that I'm interested in. And I'm too busy to read English fiction books anymore. I haven't since maybe like high school. My reading speed in Korean is very fast, I would say. For a non-native speaker, it's very fast. For a native speaker, it's average. I think I can read fairly at a reasonable speed because I'm not reading the syllables. I'm not reading the letters. I'm looking at the word like I would if I were reading in English. If I write up the example, 지난주에는, I'm not reading 지난주에는. I see the whole thing as one piece. Last week, 지난주에는, and I can just read it out from my memory. I don't even have to look at the page. So if it was smudged or messed up and you can't read it, but I can tell that's what it would have been, then I can still read it because I know the word. Reading speed is going to come by itself because it's part of your brain getting used to seeing the words a lot. I wouldn't try to. So basically what I'm kind of going back to is the what I was saying before with listening speed. You can read at a regular pace, things that you already understand. Your reading speed will get faster the more words that you know. You don't need to try to read a bunch of books. In fact, buying all of the Harry Potter books in Korean and reading, quote unquote, reading through them without actually really comprehending them won't improve your Korean as much as you think it will. I've seen many people who do that, and It really doesn't help as much as it should, as much as I wish it did. It doesn't improve your reading speed. It doesn't improve your comprehension. What does improve your comprehension is using what you're learning. So the more you can utilize the things that you're learning, not only reading, not only listening, but you get a balance of everything, that's what will help your reading go faster. So I wouldn't focus on necessarily one thing. Just focus on getting better Korean overall. So trying to practice speaking more, trying to have more conversations, listening, doing active listening where you're focusing. All of those things to make a more balanced profile of your Korean learning will help you to do each of those things better. Hey, Alita. Thank you, Alita. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the $2 donation. I'm going to give you 2 dabs, Alita. 1, 2. Okay, let's see here. Happy Sunday, Monday, Billy. Thank you for the lesson. Yes, thank you. Why is 다음주 pronounced as 다음주? Before I answer it, let me double check. It is either. But let me just double check that before I confuse anyone. Yes. Yes. So you can say it as either way, and there's actually a lot of words that you can say like that. 다음주. The reason is, are you saying it as one word or are you saying it as 2 words? And technically they'll have a right answer. It should be 다음주 because it should be 2 words. As you can see, it's it'll be spaced. Or if it's not spaced. If you're saying it as one word, then you would need to add the double sound in there so that way you can pronounce it quickly. That's a sound change rule though. I have a video about sound. I have videos actually multiple about sound change rules. But if you're saying it as 2 words, then you wouldn't. You would say it as separate. 이번 주, 다음 주, like that. And that's how it's supposed to be said. But you'll hear people say it with the 주 instead because they're compressing it in their mind as one word. It's acceptable, but that's just how some people will say it one way or the other. It's not that it's supposed to be though. You can verify any pronunciation and see how it's supposed to be. But yeah. I think my tablet just died. Just turned off. Did the battery die? What happened? So sad. Hold on. And my only guess is that the battery died because I was just holding it and it just shut off. But I can still read your comments. I just have to look over here. Okay, let's see what else. I'll just stream for another like 5 minutes then. Let me see what else. What other comments do we have? Okay, I have to go close for this. 금한국인은 한국에 오시면 다른 유튜버나 한국어 선생님과 함께 영상 콜라보할 계획이 있으십니까? So quick note. So Cody, when you're using 계시다, it's a honorific verb, right? So honorific verbs, what they do is they show extra respect toward the subject of whatever that verb is. In this case, what is the subject of 계시다 in your sentence? So I'll let you think about that for a second. I'll let you know though, it's not me in that sentence. In that, what you've written is 계획이 계시다. So 계획 is the subject now of the verb 계시다. So that would be incorrect. It has to be a person. So you couldn't use 계시다 in that sense. You could use 있다. Or 있으시다 is what people sometimes get away with using as well. But 있다, you would just use the regular verb for that. Since the word you're talking about is just 계획, which wouldn't be something you would add extra honorifics to. Okay, let's see here. But I don't have any plans yet. If there's a specific YouTuber you would like me to collab with, send them a tweet. Mention me. Say, hey, you should do a collab with Go Billy, like that. And if there's no one, if they don't have Twitter, then just send it to me. I can try to see if I can contact them. If there's someone you want me to collab with, let me know. But I don't have any plans yet. I will, but I just don't have any plans yet. If we're not all reading 엉덩이 탐... Yeah, I actually have that game. Then why are we even here? Yeah. Okay, I guess when using the subtitles helps, you'll associate the word as a whole with the sound of it, making it easier to read out. Genitive. Yeah, the medic from Team Fortress 2. So I actually have a video about that. It's called the sai shiot, which is the sai is like between, so like inside, shiot, this letter. And it's the letter that gets stuck in when you're combining two Korean words, two words together to keep it simple. When you're combining two words together into one word, then you'll attach this between them to indicate that they're separate words, but it's like as said as one word. And I have a video about it you can find on my channel. But that's the reason for that, why you sometimes have words that get that extra emphasis, the extra strong, not strong, but the double consonant in the sound. Let's see here. I'm reading 엉덩이 탐정, not quite yet ready for Leonard the Frog. Oh yeah, I listen to Leonard the Frog. My kid's a huge fan of Leonard the Frog. I think I've listened to all of them like twice, at least twice. There's probably like 100 of them. But I'd say Leonard the Frog is pretty good. If you're looking for like a, I don't know. I don't want to say it's easy though. I think it's still quite advanced level. For me, it's fairly easy compared to other stuff though. It's like much easier than the news or something like that. But it's still very high, it's still advanced Korean. But, oh, and it could be kind of difficult to understand because of all the different voices, but it's fun. I'd recommend it. It's not bad. Okay, let's see. Danke, Kamerad. Yes. Medic. Okay, 감사합니다, Joe Turner. All right. Patch, why is amnir? Yeah, that's due to a couple things, but there's one is the, it's the nian 첨가 rule. And I have a video about that, actually, believe it or not. I have a video all about that. Search for that on my channel. Nian 첨가. I think I already uploaded it. I filmed it like last year, and I think it should be uploaded by now. Sometimes I'll film videos way in advance, and then I tell people it's on my channel and I haven't uploaded it yet, but this one should be there. But yeah, that's just a rule when you have a word that comes before any word. We have a word that's stuck together and the second word starts with a E sound, then it can become a nian. So you get ni for that. Yeah. Okay, just a couple more questions and we'll stop for today. When is the best live? Georgia asks, when is the best live? What do you mean by that? When is the best live? Today, the day I'm doing a live is always the best live. Oh, when's the next live? That will be next Sunday. You can find the live stream schedule. The live stream schedule, as well as all of the previous lives in the Google document. Hey, Omar, thanks for coming. I didn't know you were here. I saw your name pops up really big. But yeah, make sure to check out all of the lessons there so you can find the next live stream. And there are only 3 more until I take a break for the summer. That's not because I don't want to do these. It's because I'm going to be in Korea and I don't have this whiteboard. I don't have my markers. I won't have any of the stuff that I have to do an actual live stream from Korea. So instead, I'll just do like a regular live stream, but not a class while I'm there. And probably only once a month. But yeah. Let's see. Shirila May says, 안녕, welcome. Though normally you wouldn't want to say 안녕 to a stranger, but it's okay. I know you're just practicing. I'm not going to be offended. Actually, no one would be offended. They'll just think, if you said it to a Korean, they would just think, oh, it's just a foreigner maybe, or a kid or something. So no one would be offended anyway. Wow, my nose looks so big from the profile view. I just realized that. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Don't get lost on your live. That was nerve-wracking. Oh, yeah. That was... I might do another one. The reason it was nerve-wracking for me as well was because I had to get back. I was like leaving right after. I think it was just a few days before I was leaving. So I really didn't have time to get lost somewhere. I had to get back home before it was like, I think I needed to get back home before like 5 or 6 or something. There was something I had to do, like packing, something like that. I was really busy. So if I did it any other day though, I wouldn't have minded if I got stuck somewhere and had to like pay for a hotel and sleep by myself. Maybe I can do it again. Maybe we could do another one where I'm allowed to get on the bus, or I'm allowed to like find other methods of going around. That way I can travel farther. I'm not sure. Could be fun. Okay. About before, our conversation was just told 사진 찍을 뭐지? Okay. What about that? I'm afraid to speak in Korean again to Korean stranger because I'm afraid they might again say 뭐지. They weren't saying 뭐지 to you because that would be impolite. They were saying 뭐지 to themselves. So they were saying 뭐지 like, what? Oh, wait, oh? Like kind of like they didn't understand. That's normal. I mean, if you're afraid of Koreans not understanding you, they're not going to understand you sometimes. I mean, do people always understand what you say in English? There are some times when you're speaking your native language and people might be like, wait, what? And you'll be like, oh, wait, oops, I meant to say this. It just happens. And then even if you say something perfectly, if your face doesn't look Korean sometimes, you might be left with they might just give you a blank face because they don't know what you said, because they were expecting to hear English and you said Korean, and their brain didn't listen to the Korean because they were thinking you would say English. And then sometimes they can get confused that way. That's happened to me as well a lot. So all I'll do is I just repeat what I said exactly the same way again. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay. It just happens. Like it's just a normal part of learning Korean. It's not something you have to be afraid of. It's just something you should expect. It's going to happen again. Now what you can do though is check later. Hey, did I say something wrong? Oops, I guess I said something wrong. Better not say that wrong again. But there's nothing you can do to prevent that in Korean, just because people are surprised that you're speaking Korean. You might make a mistake and they wouldn't understand you. That's normal. But really, just even if you say it perfect, they might still not understand what you said, or they might be a bit like confused that Korean came out of your mouth. They might not think you actually speak Korean even when you speak Korean. You might say something and they think that you just memorized it. So they're like, oh, what do I say in English to reply to this person? They obviously don't speak Korean, even though they speak Korean. It's just one of those things. It's pretty normal. Like when you said it to me, I was thinking, yeah, that sounds pretty normal. Like a regular reaction you might get if you said it. But you could have pointed to yourself and held the camera out and asked it just again, exactly. Even if it's not perfect, ask it the exact same way. And I'm sure they would have understood you. It was just for whatever reason, they didn't. Okay. What's the best verb? Oh, let me see. Cody Smith says, let me check here. Gumi School. Oh yeah, I know about Gumi School. I recommended them actually in my recent video. Their personality will match with your contents, you think? Okay. Yeah, I haven't thought about doing collabs with any of them specifically, but I'm open to it. I just don't know who to ask and who would want to do a collab with me. Let's see. Paulina says, what's the best verb for to notice? It would depend on what you're trying to say. Like, notice me, senpai? Or are you trying to say, like, I noticed something? Or, like, 알아채다 is a pretty common one. 깨닫다 is another one. 인식하다, I believe, yeah. I think that would translate as to notice. Hold on. Maybe more like recognize, but Yeah, recognize would be better translation. But you could translate it as notice if it's like to take notice of. The most standard one, if you're saying like, I noticed something, the can sound a little bit formal. 깨닫다, which will conjugate, this will change to a lir here. So you get like, 깨달았어요, 깨달았어, 깨달았다, like that. And you can use this like, I realized something happened, or I didn't realize that. And it's very straightforward. It's like a kind of used often for literal translations too, but you can use it, it's okay. If you're talking about like, notice a person, then that's going to be a different verb. I believe you'd use 알아채다 might be the most common one, but let me check. Yeah, 알아채다 is like you're noticing something, but then you could also use 눈치채다 as like if you're picking up on something, noticing. So there's a lot of different ways you can translate. I would just stick with this one first until you get comfortable using it, and then you can attach the other ones on after. But there are a lot, just because notice can be used in many different ways in English, and in Korean, those meanings are sometimes different. But if you ask in the Discord, come in the Discord, I can write down some of this more for you. I've never had anyone think that of my Japanese in Japan, Patch. You must sound good if they think that. Let me see. If you say something even near perfectly, Koreans might mistakenly think you're higher level than you are and come back at you with too high a level. That can happen. I feel like though, yeah, sometimes if you just say a few words, they might think that you must speak perfect Korean, but I don't feel like they're going to usually do really perfect, like 100% native Korean to you a lot. I think usually they're still going to come back at you with some form of slightly watered down Korean. Like, not, it's correct, it's accurate, but it won't be exactly what they would use to another native speaker. This is like this would be a whole other huge topic that I'd like to make a video about someday. But when you speak with a Korean person and it's apparent that you're not a native speaker, the Korean that they use to you, while you might think it's 100% native, like it is, but you might think it's 100% the same way they would speak to their friends, it's not. You'll still get a slightly easier version, like, the budget version. You'll slightly get an easier version of Korean simply because in their mind, they think, no matter how good this person's Korean is, in their mind, they're thinking, but they're not a native speaker. And we do this subconsciously in English too. When you go to a fast food restaurant or whatever, and the cook or the person taking your order, you can tell they don't speak native English, but they're good. Are you going to be like, yeah, let me just get like a set number 3 with like some extra pickles or something? Are you going to be like that? No, you're going to be a little more clear just because you know in your mind that they might not understand you. You want to be polite. And in Korean, though, it's a little bit more severe, I would say. You'll get a little bit, it won't be like you'll get a dumbed down version of Korean or anything, but you might not get the same experience you would get if they were speaking with another native speaker, simply because in their mind, they're thinking, I can't speak too hard. They won't understand me at times. And that's not what everyone does. I find if you want to get like more of a full native experience, then sometimes older people can be good for that because they just don't care. They'll just speak to you however they speak to anyone else sometimes. But there is a little bit of that going on. So maybe if I can think of a good way to compile a video about this with some maybe experiences and examples, I think it could be kind of a fun video. But yeah, it's just something to pay attention to. Let's see. All right, I think that's enough for today. I don't want to go on too long. Thank you everyone for joining me for the live stream. Hopefully it was beneficial. I know it was an advanced lesson, but hopefully you're still able to learn something from it. Thanks for coming. Take care, and I will see you again next time. I wonder if I can still catch the train. Wait a minute, I don't even think the train's moving. I might just have to find another way to get there. Anyway, see you again. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. I don't even know how I get out of this place.